Us today. Here at Moment of Truth, we have a very intense episode. I was able to sit down with a legendary boxing trainer here in Prichard, Alabama, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. Now, my intentions on talking to him was to speak about my election and why I'm running, but the conversation took a turn that I did not expect. But I do appreciate Mr. Dortch's time, and I want to thank you for joining us here at Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast in Alabama. The first subject that we talked about was with a lot of politicians when they run. They say their focus is on the children and the seniors, and they do not uphold their end of the bargain once they're elected. So Mr. Dortch, he expressed his concern for this issue, and we also talked about the school children and their learning situations. Now, we have something called Common Core, which I do not agree with, I do not like, and if I'm elected on November 6th to the Alabama House of Representatives, I will focus my attention on ending Common Core and making it so that teachers actually have an impact on the students. So we're going to get to
for dealing with the one of the things that all politicians have done, the black Republicans, Democrats, or whoever, they have failed our children and our seniors tremendously. You know what I mean? They use children and our seniors as a platform to get in there, but the results are not
Well, let me ask you, what would you like seeing done different? Are you talking about the safety of the schools, or are you talking about the actual education of the students?
Well, I believe that education will automatically counter safety. We don't have mass shootings like in the European community, but we do have violence in the school, okay? Mm-hmm. I myself, who was in the school system, and I'm speaking for what a lot of teachers feel. They feel helpless. You know, they can't really discipline the kids like they really need to because their hands are tied. You can't really talk to them like you really need to talk to them. Their hands are tied. They have gotten away from the structure. See, it was a time that you could really rely on kids getting their home training, but you can't no more. You can't rely on home training as being the base of that child getting and for it to nurture. And it takes a community to raise a child, right? So I think that I would like to see more leverage given to the administration and the teachers, better education, but better curriculum, because a lot of stuff they learn in school has nothing to do with life. It's a waste. It's absolute waste. Okay? I want to see financial literacy, okay? I want to see more things for our girls to do. Like in the city of Prichard, we don't have now one swimming pool. I want my school, Black Bible, to have a swim team. You know what I mean? I want our children to have access to every opportunity possible, not just athletics, but in academics as well, to make teaching fun. Some of these teachers have to stick so close to these curriculum that they can't really get away from that. And like I told a teacher one time, I said, if teaching is boring, if you're teaching in a boring way, I said, would you like going to a job that you hated for 12 years? I mean, it would drain you. School should be a place that kids are like, man, I want to go. And you know, we learn because you got to learn energetically. You got to be energy when you learn. You know what I mean? There got to be energy when you learn. And so now I think that when the education come about, I think a lot of things will fall into play. Myself, I want to see better security at the school. We're going to have to get to a point, I hate to say this, but it's going to have to get to a point where it is up north, where they have metal detectors. It's going to have to get to that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's going to have to get to that. It's just so many things that I think that we need to address. A lot of these kids are angry. A lot of them are angry because they don't know why they're angry. A lot of them is angry because they're going through a lot at home. That, you got to understand that when children is going through stuff, and when you have a parent or people, whoever they surround us, to put that fear, don't you tell nobody, then they keep that in. And when they keep that in, that just built up. And you have all this bullying and all these things that's going on. I want more resources for them. I want politicians to put children and seniors first. Period. Of able-bodied people that can do things and do a little bit, that's a total. And yeah, of course, the disabled, we look out for them. But the children and the seniors, because the seniors paid their dues and the children is the future. And the black race has failed tremendously all the way around. And that comes from the church, the schools, every single portion of the black race have failed our children. Period. The church too. Everybody has failed. The city leaders have failed. The community has failed. We have, even here I look and I see how young people, so many young people in the summer is walking with their heads down. Nothing to look forward to. I brought a fighter in from Africa 2 weeks ago. And he walked, he run out through Prichard, Georgia. He said, coaches, nobody's jogging. Nobody's running. There's nobody exercising. And he's from Ghana, and that's what they do. Now this is a poor country. Poor as all get out, but they jogging all the time. And we need to bring that energy back into our young people's life and get them their mind on doing more positive things. But if they don't see positive, they're not going to think positive. They're just going to wish. See, a lot of our children, man, their dreams are shattered. As a black man myself, and I tell anybody, as a black man, I can see why we have the frustrations we have. Because a lot of times, our dreams is not noticed. We have to ball it all up. Our family, when you have a dream that you're trying to put, sometimes your family will come with every excuse in the world not to support you. Every excuse.
Bishop Talbert, I am back. Hope you're enjoying this interview so far that I did with the legendary boxing trainer here in Alabama, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. The second topic that we spoke about was a very touchy topic, a very touchy subject where a lot of, in the black communities, how a lot of our black leaders and black churches and black pastors, how they use and manipulate a lot of African Americans to get them to donate money and to participate in the church. But they are not living up to their end of the bargain when it comes to helping in the community, making it a safer and better place. Before we get to that, I want to show you all a book that my wife and I, we co-wrote last year. It is called Misguided Mary. It is very special to us, very near and dear to the heart. Took a lot of hard work in writing it. It's about a young lady who deals with a lot of issues coming up in Atlanta, Georgia. So I want you to check it out. I can tell you it will be the best $20 that you all spent. It can be purchased right on Amazon. Once again, it's Misguided Mary.
And you have your liberals, and sometimes you have bigots on both sides. You see what I'm saying? But it's just all about. I always believe in this. You cannot expect another tribe to take care of you more than they take care of their own tribe. That's why I tell all black people. No more excuses, black people. You can't blame nobody else. The Asians doing what they supposed to do. The fake Jews doing what they supposed to do. Arab doing what they supposed to do. Everybody's doing what they supposed to do. What is they doing? They're taking care of their own. That's what they're doing. And that's what they're supposed to do. But I think that we have become too complacent.
Yes. Yeah.
Too passive.
Yeah.
We're not holding people accountable. I'm in Prichard, Alabama, and a man once told me when I went to the National, He said, how can a city like Prichard, Alabama have so many churches and so many community problems? And that's true. If the church don't work together, the people would not work together. Nobody have more ills in the black community than the black church. Period. Nobody. But why do I say it look like? Because they need to get outside the wall. And I'm not saying nothing that I tell preachers to their face. Get off your butt. The same way you motivate your congregation, your flock, to raise money, to give money for your anniversaries, is the same way you need to motivate your congregation and your flock to go out and adopt a spot and clean up. Same way. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's about, man. But
Moment of truth. I am Bishop Talbert. You are watching an exclusive interview with the legendary boxing trainer, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. We're talking about a lot of issues, a lot of things that affects a lot of African Americans. Mr. Dortch, I just want to thank him for being gracious enough to just speak his mind and speak the truth with us here at Moment of Truth. And the next subject that we touched on was a lot of publicity with the groups, such as Black Lives Matter, how as he stated, when it's a police brutality or a police shooting, you know, they are quick to join and to speak up, but as soon as there's no publicity, that everyone is gone. So I'm going to let you hear him and hear his explanation. Once again, I thank you for listening to the #1 podcast in Alabama, Moment of Truth, and I am your host, Bishop Talbert.
And you know, you have so many spotlight junkies. You know, they're not really true to the cause. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When the cameras leave, they leave. So many times we've seen police shooting, you got everybody and their mama out there when the camera's there, but then when the cameras leave, nobody even talk about it no more. It's that kind of inconsistencies that will never get nothing done. And that's why I don't jump on people's bandwagon. You know, because I already see that they're not true to the cause. You know, they're going to get everybody hyped up, and they're going to leave. And you got a lot of that right here in the print. You got folks, man, that's trying to do this and trying to do that, and all on Facebook and, you know, radio shows and this, that. But they call, it's just a whole lot of talk. You know, I'm a person of action. Anybody that knows you will tell you, Gabriel Dortch is not a procrastinator. When he put his mind to it, it's done. He's gone. There's nothing to hold me back. You know, as long as I can recover from it, I'm gone, man. You know, I don't put nothing. I don't really sleep on it that long. You know, I just keep it moving. And so, I mean, my biggest thing is that I want politicians to.
Joining me, I am Bishop Talbert. This is Moment of Truth. We are talking with the legendary boxing trainer, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. I want to thank him, first of all, for allowing us into his boxing gym just to see how things are done. And we're talking about several topics. The next thing that we were talking about was a interesting phrase that I personally have never heard before. And I wanted him to just go a little deeper into it. He used the term economical lynching. Now this is something brand new to me, but you know, I was interested, and I'm quite sure most of you are as well. So we are going to get back to the video and get his explanation. Thank you for watching Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast in Alabama. Thank you.
I've been all over the nation. And it's no different than anywhere else. Usually your black community is poverty stricken, okay? One thing I do know about Alabama, just like anywhere else, is that I call, when they do the black folk, it's an economical lynching. See, when I can go to a community that's majority European, and they don't have a population of 5,000, but they got swimming pool, recreation, facilities, YMCA, population not 5,000 people. But when I go to an African American community of 20, 30,000, we don't have nothing. And then what is so sad, by me having to write grants and being in the nonprofit sector, is that you got places like Fairhope, Daphne, Saleland, Chickasaw, all these other places use the demographic and geographics of Prichard to get their grant funding. I don't feel that the grant money in Alabama is being distributed properly or fairly. And Alabama is definitely doing an economic lynching to black communities.
So let's hear a moment of truth. I am Bishop Talbert. You are listening to the #1 podcast here in Alabama. We're talking with the legendary boxing trainer, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. We're talking about several things, and the next topic that came up was how he feels that African Americans and the African American community are basically being sick of lied to by politicians. So we are going to get to this next video. Well, I thank you for watching Moment of Truth. And if you have any suggestions on new topics that you would like for us to touch upon, for us to dig deeper into, answers that you may not have been able to find yourself, just send us a message and let us know, and we will take your thoughts into consideration. Once again, this is Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast in Alabama. Thank you.
By young folks, I mean, man, I'm telling you, through them doors right there, there's been some rough cats that walk through them doors, man, that the average young public we ain't want to talk to. For murderers, everything, for real. But I never had no problem with them. They respectful because most people, the majority of the people, don't want to die being no failure. People don't choose failure. They don't. But if you're a part of that surrounding and you don't have nobody to show that they care to lift you up and say, man, it's a better way, then what? That's what they gonna feel like nobody cares. Especially if they not getting that attention and love at home. I see it all the time, So I mean, that's what politicians, they need to be citizens first, people first, and then everything else will follow. That's what I believe, and that's why so many, black folks, it's not the fact that they don't care, they just tired of being lied to. And I'm be honest with you, more by our own people than white folks. They've been lied to more by black politicians than white politicians. That's the reality. That's the reality. Just that simple. You know what I mean?
Talbert, you are watching Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast here in Alabama. I am speaking with Mr. Gabriel Dortch, the legendary boxing trainer here in the Prichard, Alabama area. Now, this next topic is something that I get a lot of questions about, a lot of concerns, a lot of different citizens. We talked about putting the lottery here in Alabama. He stated that he would like the lottery, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. You do not want to travel to Florida, or you do not want to travel to Georgia just to play lottery. You feel that there's a lot of money that you could be missing out on. But with me, I dug a little deeper into the subject. Now, with the lottery, I personally do not want lottery because I understand there are things that need to be done before the lottery is implemented, before it's even thought about here in Alabama. We talked about this subject for a few moments, and I would like to let you all hear it. And I thank you for watching Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast here in Alabama.
And the singles. And I'm going to say this, and I don't care how these spiritual folks feel about it, Alabama need a lottery. Because them folks in Florida is living good. They send them folks to college for free. And Alabama don't have no programs to do that. So we need a lottery in Alabama. Because so much money is going there from Mississippi to Florida, and Alabama is being left behind on everything. I'm all about educational lottery, bro. I'm all about educational lottery. I know a young man that is a resident of Florida. The lottery paid for his full 4 years of college. I mean, come on. Period. I'm tired of people thinking that God can't look in no closet. He see everything you're doing, so people need to stop being fake Christians.
Well, see, the whole lottery issue with me, I understand it because I'm from Ohio. I'm from Cleveland.
Okay.
So I know the lottery, you know what I'm saying? I used to go to the store when I was 7, 8 years old, buy my mom some scratch-off tickets. But the biggest thing here with the finances, Alabama state taxes, they are earmarked. 93% of them, which means from year to year, 93% of the money that Alabama gonna make on taxes already spent. We can't do nothing with it.
Right.
You can't operate effectively like that. If something new comes up, like the Amtrak, there was opportunity to do that Amtrak. I'm not saying I was for it or anything, but they didn't have the money because everything is earmarked.
Right.
I mean, they only have 7% of leeway. That's like you. Your check, 93% of your check for the next 10 years is spent.
Yeah.
So
You can't do nothing else.
So I think if I'm elected, that's gonna be one of the first things I'm gonna try to look at is trying to figure out how is this money earmarked, why is it like this, and trying to undo some of that.
Right.
Then by doing that, you're watching Moment of Truth. Thank you for joining us today. We are talking with legendary boxing trainer, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. We have been talking about a lot of topics, a lot of things going on in the black community, but I wanted to take a second to speak with him about how he got started with his Prichard Boxing Academy and what makes him continue, what gives him the passion to continue moving forward without a lot of outside help. So he was gracious enough to explain and to elaborate and let us know what made him get started with the Prichard Boxing Academy. Once again, you are listening to Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast in Alabama. Thank you. How long have you been had the Boxing Academy?
I started this academy in 2004, and I'm peeling around, but 2006 was like the concrete when we were just wide open.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I started Prichard Boxing Academy for one. It always been my dream to one day produce a world champion for Prichard, Alabama. So much has happened to Prichard, and the people have been beat down so much with poor leadership and that just time administration after administration, and the people have not really given up. They just discouraged. And I know what boxing can do for a city economically. Boxing can put a city on the map.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are all over the world. This is done as true. This gym, I can't tell you, the Olympic boxing team, the president of the Olympic Committee, Boxing Committee, Dr. Wu, so many people have come into this building, and they would not have came to Prichard for no other reason, but they came here for that purpose. And I'm people from Russia, Africa, Canada, reach out to come here to train. But I wanted to do something for this city, to give the city some hope, the people some hope, something to be proud of. I was even looking at the rivalry of Blunt and Viger rivalry. Man, I remember the time when you went to a Blunt and Viger game in Prichard Stadium, you couldn't even sit down. But it's changed now. I mean, you got, it's just not as massive as it was before. And it's like the energy, and this is true, and people need to pay attention. The energy in Prichard is gradually being ciphered away. Because the people that really was the workers, they getting old. And they waiting to pass the torch. There ain't nobody grabbing it. So they got to hold on to it. But they want to pass the torch to somebody else to keep it.
Truth, I am Bishop Talbert. We are sitting down and talking with the legendary boxing trainer, Mr. Gabriel Dortch, in Prichard, Alabama. This next topic we were talking about was how he feels that black people for too long have just been okay with only being a Democrat when it comes to representing the people. He said that he disagrees with that and that black people should explore being Republicans, as I am, and I will be on the November 6th general election here in Alabama for House of Representatives in District 99. But he stated that black people, African Americans, should want to be a part of every group, so they are a part of every discussion, so they are no longer left out when it comes to making decisions the best for you and your family. Once again, you are listening to Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast here in Alabama. And I am Bishop Talbert, and I thank you for joining us.
I told you, I'm not Republican, Democrat, or anything. I'm independent, all right? But the picture, what I would give people is that minorities need representatives at all the tables.
Absolutely.
See, I don't want everybody to be sitting at the just be sitting at the Democratic table, and ain't nobody representing me at the Republican table, because that's how tricks come about. I want us to be sitting at the Democratic table, the Liberation table, Republican table, the Independent table. We need representatives at all the tables, okay? Because as I said to anybody, is that George Wallace was a Democrat, and he was a pure racist. All right, so that's the pitch that you're going to have to throw, is that we need representatives at all, because we need young blood up there, man, that really is not afraid to get some action. That's not afraid. We got a lot of do-nothings up there right now. And we have, and unfortunately, politicians, preachers, plays on black folks' ignorance. That's the reality. Because not that we can't read or we can't comprehend, but sometimes we just don't take the time out to. And we vote for people for the wrong reason. We don't, instead of looking at how qualified the person is, I don't care what party you're affiliated with. But if you are part of a party that's going to benefit me, that's going to give me tax breaks, that's going to put money in my pocket, that's going to help me open businesses, that's going to help my business grow, go for it. I'm all in with it. But I'm definitely not a part of being affiliated with a party that's all about studying vote. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm beyond with it.
Robert, I thank you for joining us here at Moment of Truth. We are talking with legendary boxing trainer, Mr. Gabriel Dortch. We've been talking for this entire time. He's just been speaking about how he feels about different issues affecting the African Americans in our community. And this last thing that he said was really, really touching. Really, it's really a head scratcher, something that you need to think about, that people have been doing for so long unconsciously. Just when it comes to voting, first of all, I encourage everyone to vote. Your vote does matter. It makes no sense that we have registered voters here in Alabama, but only 25% of the people registered actually vote. That is very disappointing, and I hope that everyone watching this will exercise your right to vote. But in voting, have an open mind. Get to know the candidates. Mr. Dortch, he said that it's far too many people only vote Democrat, and there is no change in the community with as far as the education, as far as the infrastructure, as far as the family. And I wanted to let you hear what he said so you can understand, so you can hear his passion, and you can feel what he is saying. Once again, you are listening to Moment of Truth, the #1 podcast in Alabama. And I will be back after this video with my final truths to end the show. Thank you.
What I tell people, we've been voting Democrat a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And our schools are still failing, and our infrastructure in our city is still failing.
Back here with Moment of Truth. Hope you enjoyed the videos today, the different segments. I want to thank Mr. Gabriel Dortch once again for allowing us to sit down, allowing us in his gym to just talk about some things, just open up to us. And I appreciate it. Pretty sure you all do too. I hope you enjoyed it. But before I get to my final truths, once again, I want to let you all know about the book my wife and we co-wrote. It's called Misguided Mary. It's about a young lady who deals with a lot of things in her life, from prostitution, from being abandoned by her mom, to drug use, to going to the penitentiary. It's a very interesting book. It's all based on a true story, and I can tell you it will be the best $20 that you ever spent. You can get it right now by visiting Amazon.com. It's Misguided Mary And before I go, as usual, I want to give you my final truths. And today it comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. All right, now it comes a time in your life where you may have gotten your hopes up, you may have had a dream about what you want to do with your life, what makes you happy. But along that journey, there are going to be obstacles. It's never going to be smooth sailing. But there are going to be times where you really don't know. But you have to rely on that original message that you got from our Heavenly Father. One thing about the Lord, He does not send mixed signals. So if He tells you something, it is what you need to follow. You may not understand why, you may not know how you're going to get there, but if you believe in Him and you continue to trust in His word, you will be successful. Now, there are going to be people on the outside who are going to try to distract you, who are going to try to discourage you, who are going to try to get you to just go along with what everyone else is doing so you can fit in. But only you know the message that our Heavenly Father has given you. And today, this message was brought to you by Moment of Truth, and I thank everyone involved with helping us make this episode of Moment of Truth very successful. Well, as always, if you have any ideas for future episodes or you have questions regarding anything that's going on in the world today, just let us know and we will take all your ideas into consideration. Well, I thank you, and I will see you next time.